that's actually quite special. The car just came in a couple of minutes ago, and yeah, it looks very impressive. It looks much more muscular and much sort of more impressive in real life than on photographs. So although I know the car quite well, I've been over the whole shape. Seeing it in person is always a little bit special. Yeah. I was just starting with the team when the first game was out with the Lister. It's a very iconic, very recognizable car, and it's really cool now to see it again in today's modern state of games where we are going to high details. Seeing the car in person as well now is also special.
I've got it 9 to 5.
It's an interesting cockpit, this one. Presumably, these blanked off bits, I presume that's for cooling the driver. But in this case, the driver is being punished. They've riveted those closed. And there's no windows. So whoever drives this has made an enemy in the team, clearly. But otherwise, it's pretty awesome. So you've got your ignition switch, start button, fire stuff, you want to leave that alone. And as is usual in these Le Mans cars, tons of fuses. So things often go wrong, fuel pumps go down, you have a spare fuel pump. So all these different fuses here, the drivers who are in this machine will learn exactly what those mean, so that at any given time, including when it's pitch black, you can thump one of those and hopefully get a backup system going, or bypass something that's not working, if you get a misfire or something like that. Plus you've got your usual data enjoyment up here on the screen, and you can scroll through that with these buttons here. So they have spoiled the driver a little bit here. They've got a nice little flash button and a drink button with 2 flash modes. So clearly, whoever has been in this car is quite an aggressive driver, because it's got 2 types of flash. Presumably one is please move over, and the other one is get the fuck out of the way. AC, don't know what AC means. Radio for chatting to your team when you get lonely.
So along with the Ferrari and the Vipers, the Lister is one of the most well-known, well-recognizable cars, especially in this livery. It's really great for me as someone who played those games back in the day, now getting to work on them, to make them myself. Yeah, special day. Back in the day, sort of 20 years ago, the level of computer tech was much lower, so the car was maybe 25,000 polygons. Today we're up at 250, 300,000. Every small detail needs to be made in 3D fully. Basically, we're modeling everything, the materials, the textures that we need to make. Yeah, it's a whole different level.
Sequential box, which work really well, and it's got a flat shift, so you don't have to lift off the gas. You just bang it through. There's an ignition cut that just literally in a split second just cuts the spark to the engine. It's enough to release the tension on the gearbox, and you can crunch through to the next gear. I counted 5. The really interesting thing down here actually is the pedal box. So if you have a little look down into the footwell, you can see it's actually quite cramped space. So your little feet, I've got size 10s going on here, and I always try and wear a size under with racing boots, because basically big feet aren't convenient when you're trying to reach the pedals. My legs are off centre because they have literally done all they could possibly do to bring the engine as far back into the driver's lap as possible. To take this engine out, they actually have to remove the dashboard and the windscreen. It's that close.
So getting access to the cars, high detail photographs, 3D scannings, all that kind of stuff is critical for us. So yeah, we basically have to replicate the car exactly as it is behind me. It needs to be down to every nut and bolt.
Technology's moved on a long, long way, but it's great to see this Lister Storm's got some great parts on it. The technology obviously is nowhere near as advanced as current racing, but this car was a beast in period. So on the Lister Storm, we've got twin exit both left and right hand side, and as you can see, here they are. This car, it runs a cable throttle, so when it's coming down the pit lane, on the pit speed limiter, you have to modulate the throttle, because basically it's not like a modern car where it's got fly-by-wire. You have to pull the throttle back because the ECU's not smart enough in this, so it'll keep throwing the fuel in. Basically, the exhaust temperatures will come up, but when this comes down the pits, you'll see some good flames.
Check this out. Have a look in there. Look in this scoop here. It's a massive hole in the bodywork. It's the sort of thing that Adrian Newey would probably look at and go, "Oh, not sure if that's working, boys." In terms of drag and aerodynamic efficiency, massive rear wing, obviously. And you can see sort of hints of the road car design. And this looks pretty strong, the diffuser. That's going to do its job with a fairly flat floor. These things, maybe not quite so well made. They look a bit flimsy. But all of that, the aim of it is to be channeling the air as cleanly as possible. So you want the air to go as fast as possible through the bottom of the car and slow it down in the areas like this to create the downforce. As to what that's doing, I'm not entirely sure. Might have to wait for the engineer to come to show me that. And then you've got a bit of Batmobile effects. Here you've got oil, water and fuel overflow. So basically if you put too much in, it just spits it out the back into the face of the drivers behind you. Many racing teams known to do this on purpose. You get a face full of oil. But despite the looks, this car looks pretty menacing, to be honest.